Hey guys, in today's video I want to talk a little bit about clients or people that will come to us and say, yeah, I want to start training, I want to start resistance training, but I think I need to start running so I can get back in shape so that I can come back to the gym. And in most people's eyes, running is a way to get in shape, and it is. It improves aerobic fitness, can strengthen bones, ligaments, tendons, all that stuff, and it's honestly a great form of aerobic training. I think one misconception that needs to be addressed, though, is that if you are currently out of shape and your workout program is either non-existent or doesn't include any resistance training or aerobic training, starting off into running can be a challenging task. Now, you can do it. You can definitely do it. You can grade your exposure back to more mileage and higher heart rates and tempos and things like that. But I would argue that it's probably better for you to begin training in a resistance training kind of format of exercise first, and then add on the aerobic training as you go. And the reasoning for that is many people, when they jump into running, because it's kind of a low barrier to entry activity, you just need shoes and a place to go, think that they can jump into a higher mileage program, and they don't really treat it the same way they would treat like lifting weights. For example, if you walk into a gym, you're not going to jump to the squat rack and throw on 315 and just say, okay, first day in the gym, here we go. Maybe you do, maybe you're a freak squatter, that's great. For most people, that's not the case. But when it comes to running, people think, hey, I can run a 8-minute pace for 4 miles on my first time. And again, maybe you can, but for the majority of people, there's a couple components they should be considering first. The first is that you need to grow that aerobic base. So develop that aerobic base to where you can perform some aerobic training and your heart rate doesn't shoot up really high, doesn't stay elevated for a super long time, and you're able to accomplish a good amount of training, again, and that's specific to you, in those aerobic heart rate zones, okay? So a little bit of an aerobic base is kind of needed to get into running, and maybe you develop that with walking, swimming, cycling, elliptical, anything like that, pushing a sled, farmer carry, things like that. And then you work your way into running. But the other consideration to kind of think about is tissue tolerance, okay? So when we talk about tissue tolerance, we're talking about the muscles, tendons, ligaments, really of your whole body and lower extremity specifically, of the foot, ankle, hip, spine. We need to have these tissues prepared to handle the load of running. So there's a couple different figures out there that you hear, but when you run, you are putting a large portion of your body weight and then some onto each foot every time you step, okay? So that's why you see runners with these big cushion shoes. They're trying to sort of alleviate some of that pressure that's going into those feet mile after mile after mile, okay? The shoe argument is, again, a separate video here. But when people say they need to start running to get back in shape, it's a little bit of a misnomer in that they should be getting in shape and then adding running to their program, okay? Now, again, there are probably instances where you could use running to get back into shape for previous runners, someone with a high aerobic capacity, things of that nature. But for the average person, I would not recommend jumping into a running program to get back into shape, but using resistance training with a little bit of HIIT style cardio to get themselves in shape so that they can add running to the equation. Like I said, running's a great way to could be potentially to lose weight, to improve lipid profiles, things like that, improve aerobic capacity, gain endurance in your lower body and things like that. But you definitely have to be prepared to jump into it, or else I think you're kind of asking for injury if you ramp up too quickly. But that's true of any exercise, okay? But people think running kind of stands out for whatever reason. Not really the case. Still, the rules still apply for running. You need to get in shape so that you can run, not necessarily start running to get into shape, okay? If you guys have additional questions about starting a running program or what to do to lose those extra pounds or get back into shape, shoot us a message, shoot us a comment here below, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thanks.